Sexuality is a topic that really you're not going to hear a lot of sermons about because it might make some people feel really uncomfortable. But being made in God's image includes our sexuality. It's not something to hide or be ashamed of. Now, we live in a world that distorts and misuses this gift in so many different perverse ways. But so many men find themselves struggling, caught between God's design and the enemy's plan to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, by the end of today's show, you'll discover that when your sexuality is fully submitted to God, it can become a source of strength, intimacy, and generational blessing. Male sexuality is God's divine design, and it's a gift to each one of us, men and women. At our birth, we were made male or female. Now, men are often misunderstood due to their God-given desire for regular connection in marriage. Now, once you understand male sexuality correctly leads to three-dimensional sexuality. I need to talk about that, especially men. It's not a physical thing. It's a spirit, soul, and body bringing connection. And it's really important. In Sex, Men, and God, we talk about how you as a man can develop that spiritual and emotional intimacy with a woman, which makes your sexuality the most powerful it can be for both of you. Now, God isn't against sexual fun, but he is against us hurting ourselves and misusing the gift of our sexuality, because that's not his purpose for anything, okay? True sexual success comes from recognizing sexuality as God's gift. It's not a curse, okay? It's not part of the curse. It didn't happen after the fall. It was happening before the fall. Sex, it can be a very pure, wonderful thing inside of marriage. And pursuing purity, both externally and internally. Externally, keeping your environment clean. Internally, keeping your heart clean. And we'll get more into this, and Sex, Men, and God covers this in great detail. You want to submit our sexuality to the lordship of Christ. You know, we want to bring all things captive, every thought in our heart captive to Christ Jesus. We want our bodies to be a living sacrifice. We want to treat all women with honor and respect because they're the daughters of God. We want to treat them as if they are our sisters and our mothers. That's what Paul was talking about. Now, the impact of sexuality, realizing the value of sexuality helps you to avoid damaging yourself. 1 Corinthians 6:18, flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body. But whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Now, this can affect your relationship with God in a positive or not positive way. It can affect your future generations in a positive or not positive way. And the enemy targets male sexuality. It's huge. The attack is, mega billions of dollars being spent attacking men's sexuality because they know if they can misuse it negatively, it can impact the family and generations. The enemy knows why he's doing this. Now, conversely, a man who submits his sexuality to Christ brings blessing to his family and his generations. So let's get back to that external and internal sexuality for a moment, because this is where the battle really goes. External, that's pretty easy. Okay, that's the physical behavior, okay, inside of marriage only. It's not for outside of marriage, pre, or post, or during, okay? The biblical commands against external sexual sins are pretty clear. In the top 10, Exodus 20:14, you shall not commit adultery. We all know that. The entire chapters of Proverbs 5 is warning against adultery. God desires sexual purity for happiness and protection. Now let's make that contemporary. That includes your social media. That includes flirting. That includes doing things to entice women to believe that you have a sexual interest in them. Having a porn blocker is a great idea. Go to our website. There's a porn blocker button. Get that. We have to get in our hearts that we are protectors as men. And women also, listen to me, your sons need protecting. If your husband's not willing to protect, you need to at least have a voice in that conversation. We had porn blockers on our kids' phones. I had porn blockers on my phone the entire time my kids were growing up because I wanted them to see an example. It's important that we protect ourselves from that, okay? These are the external things we need to protect ourselves. Those conversations, the negative conversations about our spouse with the opposite sex. Everyone needs to have those kind of boundaries. Now, internal sexuality, that's the big place. That's this thing here, that thing we call our brain, our heart, our thoughts, impulses, desires, all of that. Now, this is often undetected by others. You can sit in church and totally pretend that things are all good and be lusting all week and doing inappropriate small things all week. But Exodus 20:17 commands us not to covet another man's wife. And this, of course, applies to women as well. We're not supposed to be wanting other people. Be happy with the one that God gave you. I'm extremely happy with Joni. She's amazing, okay? And my heart needs to stay there. In Matthew 5:27 and 8, Jesus says, you have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully, and that's actually a verb. It means continually lusting after. It's not a second, it's a continual. Has already committed adultery with her in his heart. See, God knows our heart, and he wants us to protect our heart. And all women are to be treated with absolute purity. And the power of lust is real. James 1:15 tells us that lust is a seed. It grows into sin, and then it grows into death. And if it's not addressed, lust can impact your marriage. It can impact your family. It can lead to broken relationships. I spent 40 years counseling people who've destroyed themselves by lusting and then getting into other behaviors, which can lead into pornography, fantasizing, self-behavior, spiritual impotence, where you just feel disconnected from God, and it can hurt you and your family significantly.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.